We finally got to live our dream. To look like a band. To look cool.
Air guitar.
Air drums. Were you the bass player? Or were you
I was the bass player. Because it's just like...
It only took us 100 episodes to get to that point. Only 100.
Is that what we're here for?
We are here to celebrate our 100th episode, our centennial birthday celebration.
We are a whole centennial.
We're here. What's up, guys?
Hey, y'all.
For the 100th time. So let's kick a shout out to the sponsors real quick. Wave Space Audio for the music for every 100 of these episodes. Mm-hmm. And Young Ideas Dish for all your Dish and Google product needs.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys. We are here and we are talking 100 episodes of us.
Basically life in these past 100 episodes. What's been going on with us, the show, everything. And because it's episode 100, we want to do something a little special, a little different. Hence the video you're seeing of my lovely media room and my lovely dog who didn't want to get down. So you guys get to see Mocha in this episode.
Oh, she's just hanging out.
She's just sleeping. She just wants to be here. If you guys ever hear barking in any of the background of any of our episodes, it's her. Because she wants to, be a part of it.
And she has been a part of it for quite a while. Mm-hmm. Not all 100, but she's been here a while.
She supervises most of our episodes.
Well, we're here and we're talking 100 episodes. Mm-hmm. And, it's kind of an episode to reminisce. Think about where we've been, where we're going, Yeah.
I
guess let's start with where we've been.
Like where we were when we first started versus where we are now?
Yeah. Where were you when you first started with me?
I was young. I was po. I was living at home. I was working 2 jobs. Didn't have dog. I just started dating my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. So that just started. Just grinding away at work was pretty much my whole thing at that time. I didn't do a whole lot of other things, unfortunately.
So I was old and I was poor, and I had been doing shows for quite a while. I'd been doing podcasting since 2012. So I was doing it before it was cool. I was doing like internet radio and podcasting, and none of it was cool at the time. And I had been doing a show with another individual that we were making some progress. He was actually an old radio buddy of mine, and work got in the way with his scheduling, and I wanted to continue moving forward with it. So then I put an ad on Indeed of all places, and found her. Indeed success story, guys.
Yeah, just be grateful it wasn't put on. You didn't put it on Craigslist, because one, I don't really go on Craigslist. And if it had been on Craigslist, you would have gotten some interesting people calling you back, inquiring about this. Not that I'm perfect by any means, but I think posting it on Indeed definitely saved you.
It gave me some legitimacy, I did want somebody that actually wanted to do this, that didn't have too much baggage. You gotta have a little baggage to do this. But, I wanted somebody somewhat normal. And I think it worked out. I think you ended up being somewhat normal.
I think I can pull off somewhat. Mm-hmm.
So when you first met me, again, it's one of those things where I post an ad on Indeed, we text, we talk on the phone, and it's like, hey, come in, let's see how we mesh. What the hell are you thinking? What were you thinking?
Well, I did my background research on you first to make sure you weren't, a stalker or a creep and didn't have a record and all that. So I felt pretty safe meeting you. But I liked that we were so different, because you are a little bit older than me. You come from a different background, and we have different perspectives on things, but not so different that we can't agree on certain things or find nuances or laugh about stuff. So I was like, oh, if I talk to this guy on live, on radio, video, whatever, we're going to find a way to have some laughs no matter what. Because no matter the subject, no matter our viewpoints, we can still find common ground on it. and at least respect each other's views and still have fun at the same time.
And I think that was one of the big reasons that I like the idea of us, is that we are from two different demographics. You know, at the time you were like in your 20s, Caucasian female, and then you got middle-aged Latino, you know, and we both grew up, you know, there's like an 11-year age gap, I believe. So really what I wanted to do is be able to show like, hey, we've got two different spectrums of people here, two different genders, and they still, like, sometimes we agree to disagree, but like we're able to make it work. And I kind of enjoyed that fact that we can bring two different opinions. We can have our moment. We can kind of bicker, kind of agree on some things, but then it's like, hey, they kiss and make up, and they're still civil. You know, it's like, if I can do it, you can do it. So I enjoyed that about the idea of doing this show. And in the beginning, I didn't know what I was getting into either. You know, I was just glad you were trying.
I'm glad you took a chance on me, because I know I can be a handful at times.
Yeah, you can. You still are.
I know.
You
Not all the time. At times, I get it.
But same thing with me. I can be a handful, and most of the time.
This is true. But for life, yeah, what else since then? Oh gosh. Biggest thing was I ended up getting married not too far long ago to my now husband. We got a house, hence this lovely room we're in. We got a doggy, hence this little girl you see right here. And we've just been hanging out. We both got new jobs, you know, our full-time jobs that we're both enjoying, and
jobs. My girlfriend at the time is now my wife. Mm-hmm. Our son is now many years older. You know, he's like preteen now, or tween, whatever. He's a tween. He's in between.
I
guess he's
a tween, because I think you'd be 11 to be preteen.
He looks like he's 14. He's 10 and he's got braces and he wears men's clothes. He's a tween.
Physically, he could be preteen.
Physically, he could be in high school. So,
I need to see him in person. Oh my god!
But you know, just a lot of stuff has evolved over the years. So you know, the point of tonight is to kind of reminisce, and you know, I wanted us to talk about our favorite episodes or favorite just moments of the show, because you know, we've done 100 of these since 2018. So we've experienced a little bit of, you know, we've seen some things and we've done some things.
We've talked about some stuff.
Yeah.
And because we've had 100 episodes, I definitely had to go back into our archive of all our episodes, and I actually had to re-listen to a lot of them to remember what we talked about. But I pulled my top 5. I wrote them down in my lovely notebook here. So these are my top 5 in no particular order, just my top 5. But here we go.
Let's go.
So first we have birthday Florida man. Little background. If you go to Google and type in what your birthday or a holiday or any just random day of the year, pick one, it doesn't matter, and then you type in Florida man after that day and hit enter, you're going to get one, if not multiple, articles about what a Florida man did on that date in Florida. And I think we did this around your birthday one year, because I don't think we did it for my birthday, but I want to say it was yours. And I just remember laughing my butt off at all the crazy stuff that these men are doing in Florida that you don't think is real, but it's real, because I double checked. These were real news articles.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's not just a crime. It's like a ridiculous crime. It doesn't sound like it's real. Like it's actually something somebody was idiotic enough to do. You know, and this is just a man in Florida. Some man in Florida. We didn't search like Florida woman, Florida grandma, like Karens of Florida, nothing like that. I'm sure there's a whole slew of stories.
Yeah, because all the old people retire in Florida.
But every day of the year, some odd crime has happened in Florida.
Do you think it's like the humidity, or are there more drugs down there that they're doing?
Well, there's definitely more drugs down there, but I think that your give a damn is not as high in Florida. I don't think you really care, because like you said, there's a lot of retirees. it's for the most part, it's pretty nice weather all year. I think it's very like nonchalant, like
Of course, there's more drugs. It's right next. It's so close to Cuba. I'm sorry. I was not thinking my geography. There's lots of drug trade right there.
Tons of drugs. Like, yeah, of course there's drugs.
Okay. Well, that was one of my top 5. Another one on my list was a genital logic episode we did. This is where we take a topic and we give the men's and women's perspective on it. But in this genital logic, we talked about the things that men didn't know about women. And in that episode, it was a lot of, let's say, biological stuff that men do not know. And I taught Sergio some things that
I didn't know most of the stuff. Mm-hmm. And you know, to my defense, you don't really get a sex education on the opposite sex. When you're in school, they teach you about you, but they don't really teach you about the other, the other sex.
It's not in detail.
Not in detail, and it's stuff that you just kind of have to figure out, like with trial and error, life experiences.
Living with the opposite gender.
And I've lived with mine for almost for a decade, and there were still things I didn't know. So, yeah, I mean, it enlightened me.
And it wasn't all just like biological stuff. Some of it was just like how women work and how we think too. But I think all of that combined was really eye-opening for Sergio. So if you ever want to do a thing women didn't know about men, let me know.
And the other thing too is that it also tells you how much your spouse, like in your case, you with Harrison, or myself with Myrna, it's kind of a testament to you guys as far as some of the stuff that you guys just deal with that you don't tell us.
Yeah.
You just deal. And some of it's awkward, embarrassing, whatever. And it's just like, it's just a part of being a woman. Don't worry about it. I'm good.
Yeah. Welcome to being a woman, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Another top episode for me. This was probably several years ago, maybe right before COVID, or the season before COVID. But we did a fantasy football draft. And it was my first one ever, because I don't do fantasy football drafts. I'll watch football, I don't do the draft thing. So we did a draft. Sergio's over here looking at stats and ratings and all this stuff for his players and his teams. And for my fantasy football team, I just picked whoever I thought was the most attractive. And that was the only thing I went by. Didn't look at stats. I don't even think I looked at some of their names. Like, I don't remember their names.
You looked at pictures.
I looked at pictures. I'm like, oh, he's cute. He's cute. He's cute. And then I was like, oh, I need a tight end. Okay, I pulled up the tight ends. I'm like, oh, that one.
Yeah, I'll take that one right there. Mm-hmm. And then we ended up comparing to see how we both did through the season. If I'm not mistaken, I think we tied.
We did?
I think we tied.
I know I didn't win.
I don't think you won, but I don't think...
I wasn't last.
If you beat me, or if I beat you, it wasn't by much, but I think we tied. And this is me doing research. This is me actually putting a team together based on what I know of fantasy football and of football in general. So I don't know what that says about me.
Or what that says about me, ladies.
I don't know. Or cute guys are good at football. I don't know.
Close your eyes and point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good episode.
I like that episode.
Because it went on. It was like an ongoing thing through the whole football season.
Yeah, because we would check it, and I would be really surprised when my team was doing well. I'd be like, oh, yay! Mm-hmm. Woohoo! All right, so the next one, number 4, no particular order. We did a Kate's movie review. Because if you watch the show... Whether you know or if you don't know, I have a hard time watching movies, and it's an anxiety thing for me. And I don't know why. Sometimes I get turned off at the thought of someone telling me to watch, this classic movie. I'm like, I don't want to. I'd rather do anything else. Anyway, but I did a movie review. This was very early on, one of my first movie reviews, but I reviewed The Matrix. I had never seen The Matrix. I know that's a very classic, like everyone should see movie. Keanu Reeves, very turn of the century. It was really big because of when it came out and, computer, AI.
It was very high tech.
Mm-hmm.
It was
at the time.
Bullet time, the thing where he's dodging the bullets. Mm-hmm. That was like brand new, like cinema technology. A lot of this, that was one of the first movies that really used like a ton of a ton of the special effects and the CGI, and you know, that whole series was kind of like pushing the envelope.
Yeah, and I remember I watched the movie, I paid attention, I took notes, I gave an honest review on the show, and it wasn't that giving the review was my favorite part. What I liked so much about this episode was this was a segment that helped me, you know, break out of my comfort zone, and in a way kind of forced me to try something new and watch a movie I never would have watched on my own. And because of that, I ended up watching the rest of the movies in this series. So now I can say I've seen all the Matrixes. When people bring it up or reference it, I know what they're talking about. And it's helped me, you know, watch other movies too. Even if it's not for the show, I can sit down if someone says, hey, you should really, you know, watch this movie. It's a classic. I know you'll like it. I've learned to trust them and I watch it. And even if I end up not liking it, it's not the end of the world. What did I do except watch a movie?
They're not called classics for a reason. Not every movie is considered a classic.
No.
You know? But if somebody calls it a classic, it's probably a classic. You should probably give them a chance.
I just don't like people telling me what I will and will not like.
And you liked it. So there.
I did like it. Okay. Finally, I came across an episode I did probably right around the time we first started. This was a long, long time ago. And I don't know what was happening to me at the time. Obviously I had a bad day the day I recorded this. But I gave a rant on an episode. Like, it was just me recording myself talking about the horrible experience I had at the doctor's office that morning. And I'm just venting, basically. I was so mad. I'm telling the story. I'm getting very mad as I'm saying it again. But basically there was just a stupid girl in front of me at the optometrist's office who was trying to check in. I'm trying to check in right after her. And, you know, it's early in the morning. I had to wake up early to get here. I should be in and out in, you know, 20, 30 minutes tops. And she's making me wait here for 15 minutes until the receptionist can check me in, because the girl in front of me, she had to get new insurance and she didn't know she got new insurance. She thought she was still on her old insurance and she didn't even know the name of her insurance. And she was so stupid. And I'm like, you are a functioning tax-paying adult, because you're clearly over 18 because you're here by yourself. If you're not, you're here with a parent, but you're here by yourself, so I know you're at least 18. You're paying your taxes. You probably have a job if you have health insurance, or at least you're still on your parents. But I'm like, how do you survive? Like, do you know what an optometrist is? Do you know what insurance is? Do you know where you are? Do you know what you're doing here?
Yeah. Do you know what the procedure is today? Like, do you really know what you're getting checked out?
like, do you think they're gonna like tell you to open your mouth and they're just gonna like start looking at your teeth in there? Wrong body part.
They're like, no, ma'am, pull them back up. Wrong part.
Yeah, and I don't think I want to do that again on an episode if it's not something that's very, very relevant to all of society. I'd rather like express those feelings a different way that's not in a public space. I like to like write things down a lot. Mm-hmm. If I'm having issues with a person, I write their name down and I go like this, and then I rip up the paper or I crumple it up and I burn it. I don't know, but I'd rather get my anger out that way versus just displaying it again on a public platform.
So that's what you're doing whenever you write, whenever I'm talking. Writing my name.
Sergio just said the stupidest thing
again
on our live podcast,
and then you burn it afterwards. Okay, now I know. The end. So, is that it? Is that 5?
Those are my top 5, or at least most memorable episodes, I will say.
So I would say mine's a little bit of like just general statements about our show, but I would say one of my top 5 would be Lone Wolf McQuade, the movie review. Chuck Norris, classic film, 80s.
I did review that.
80s action movie with a guy that was an action star in the 70s and 80s.
Until you brought it up to me, I never heard of... I thought you made that up. I was like, that's not real. That's not a real movie.
You knew who Chuck Norris was.
I knew Chuck Norris, but I was like, Lone Wolf McQuade? Did you pull it out of your butt? Like, what are you talking about?
And it's one of those absurd movies that's not realistic at all. He's a Texas Ranger, law enforcement. Mm-hmm. He drives like this badass tricked out Bronco with a supercharger. You know, there's a scene where the bad guys bury him in like the desert in his Bronco, and I just remember that he like reaches into the, you know, he's all beat up and stuff. He reaches into the back seat and he pulls out a beer and he like pours the beer on him and starts drinking it to like wake himself up, and he turns on his truck, kicks in the supercharger and breaks out of the hole. It's just it's absurd. But, you know, it's just like macho, tough guy 80s movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, it was a great movie, I thought. But I thought it was cool that you actually took the time to watch it, because it was pretty absurd. And that if that's your first Chuck Norris movie and I'm throwing that on you, like, you know, if you can handle that, you can handle some of the better ones. So I was proud of you for that.
Thank you.
That was one of my favorite ones. Another good one, or memorable, I don't know if it was good, but it was memorable. My first encounter with Uber Eats. This was like 2019 when I first dealt with Uber Eats, and I had ordered Hooters. I was staying at a hotel, and Uber Eats was really new, and they gave me like this extreme discount for giving this a try. And, you know, it's like everything, it showed up late, it was cold, the order was wrong. There was like all these different things. You know, now everything is so streamlined. Mm-hmm. Now you go to Hooters or Chipotle or whatever, and they have like a little shelf for like Uber Eats and DoorDash and all that. But back then it was so new. I don't even think DoorDash was a thing yet. And it was so new, and like it wasn't very organized, and, you know, people's food were getting delivered to the wrong place, and it's like, no, your dot says that you're here, and it's like, no, I'm here. You know, it just stuff like that. And if anybody remembers Uber and Lyft when it first began, it was kind of an S show back then too. It wasn't as streamlined and organized as it is now. Mm-hmm. So Uber Eats was absolutely terrible in the beginning. And but yeah, I just had a horrible experience with it, and like customer service lack of, you know, you can't really call and complain because there's not really a complaint number, and
yeah,
you just kind of deal with it. And it was like, well, it was almost free, so I'll tolerate it. But to this day, I don't think I've used it again. I think my wife has, but I personally don't think I've used it again.
I've never used it. Because I just hear people all the time saying I ordered Uber Eats, and the person who's supposed to deliver it just stole it.
They stole it, or you left it somewhere and then somebody stole it.
Yeah, and then it's so expensive now too. Like, I don't know what it cost back in 2018, but I guarantee if we were to compare prices, it's probably so much more expensive. Or if that's not expensive, they add on all these fees now, and then the fees, and then the tip. And I would rather just place an order for pickup and go pick it up myself.
Yeah, it costs you
I'll pay less in gas.
Yeah, it costs you $2 in gas to go get it, but it'll cost you like $20 in Uber Eats fees. And it won't show up in time.
No.
You know?
Because I don't order from far away. Like, I'm not... Even if I did want to use Uber Eats, I'm not going to order from somewhere that's 30 minutes away. I go to the sandwich place 10 minutes down the road. I order it. I get in my car. I drive there. By the time I get there, it's ready.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly the way I am.
Yeah.
So that was a memorable episode. Another one. So we used to do our shows live in Deep Ellum in Dallas.
Deep Ellum.
Like the live music capital of Dallas. And we had this really cool place called Common Desk that was like a shared office setting. And we used to do shows live there. We had a young lady by the name of Becky Nitschke there. She's an actress. She was doing a live show with us, and we were on the second level. So we were upstairs, and you have a big, like, it's nothing but glass, so you can just look out and you can see the street and your car and all that. I had a Jeep Wrangler at the time. It was a gorgeous day when we went in to record. Somewhere towards the end of the recording, I look up, like I'm really focused outside, and it's just pouring rain. And like, I just get up, like throw off my headphones, and I just go running down the stairs, and I run outside. It's pouring. I'm trying to close the top back. You know, you got to get in the vehicle to close to latch it. It's soaked. You're soaked.
Well, you're soaked.
Yeah.
I see it
in general, you're soaked. So, you know, in the end, it stopped raining. It was like a flash flood or whatever, like one of those brief rainstorms that comes through. It's gone in 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So it soaked me. It soaked the car. I had to drive home in it. It wasn't raining when we left. Like, I was just miserable. And but I do remember like that whole, at the time it's just like, what the hell's going on? And I'm trying to do all this stuff, you know.
Memorable for sure.
It was memorable, you know. The book reviews that we've started doing within this year, that's become a favorite segment of mine, because we're evolving. Like we're choosing to go down like a different rabbit hole that we're not. It's not necessarily in our comfort zone, you know. And the goal is to try to pick not just a certain genre of book. Mm-hmm. Like, let's read a biography. Let's read a thriller. You know, we're slowly working our way through stuff. So I have enjoyed that so far.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed that. And I would say the other thing that I enjoyed, again, not a specific episode, but I've enjoyed the fact that we've created segments. We've created things that are like staples in our arsenal. You know, genital logic. We take a male and a female perspective on a topic, and we discuss it. Pound sign time. We take a trending, you know, hashtag, and we discuss them. Law and Disorderly News. We take news segments and we take, you know, some of the news segments are educational. Some of them are funny. Some of them are sad. Some of them are political. It's a little bit of everything. Payday, talking about money and finances. I feel like there's something else I'm missing. What am I missing? There is something else. I can't remember now. But, you know, it's just, to me, that's probably the cool part, is just, it's not just, hey, we're going to come out here and talk about random stuff. We have like actual like topics and agendas that we want to discuss. And it's stuff that's evolved over time. And it's like, hey, let's try this. Let's see if it sticks. It doesn't work. Let's try something else. Let's see if this sticks. And here we are 100 episodes later, and we've got a pretty good, well-rounded show, I think.
I would say so.
So I'm extremely happy about that. You know, we've evolved a lot over the years. You know, some of the stuff that I've been looking at like I found stuff that we have. So like Young Ideas Dish, you know, for all your Dish and Google product needs. Shout out to those guys. But Gary and his team, like, I remember they gave us a bunch of stuff to give away. So I happened to find this today. So here's a Young Ideas koozie. Like, I got koozies. I remember we had shirts we were giving out. So this is a Young Ideas shirt, and this was when they were Retailer of the Year in 2020. So they've been Dish Authorized Retailer of the Year for many years, but this was in 2020 when they did it. You know, so like they gave us stuff to give out.
Memory lane.
I found these, which I don't know if you remember these, but these are stickers that have all of our stuff on it, all of our information.
Yeah.
All of our hashtag, and
they look like business cards.
They look like business cards, but they're stickers. Yeah, they got all of our, you know, where you can find us, our Twitter handle or X. It's called X now. I can't even use that. It's called
X now. But look at all the stickers.
But I bought what seems like 1 million of these, and I never run out.
And you gave me so many, and I put them everywhere. When we were in Deep Ellum, I would like walk down the street and I would stick these to poles, to windowsills, like the mailboxes, like everywhere. I stuck these. They're stickers.
So when I travel to Vegas, I still keep these in my travel bag, my little backpack. And when I go to Vegas, I get these and I stick them on in the bathroom on the toilet paper. So I put it, you know, because I don't have to touch anything. I just kind of peel back the sticker part and put it on there. And I put it on the last piece of toilet paper, like the piece that's hanging out that you got to pull on. And I'm hoping that somebody's going to pull on it and be like, oh, that's interesting. That's clever.
Wouldn't you want to put it like on the door?
Well, the only reason
on sitting height, so like when you're sitting taking your poo poo, it gets right there.
Well, the only reason I don't do that is I don't want to deface the property. All I'm doing is defacing that one piece of toilet paper.
Oh, okay. Do it on the door if there's already like graffiti all over the door. But if the door is really nice, if it's like, you know, Caesar's Palace or something.
In Vegas, most of them are pretty nice. They got guys that clean those things pretty frequently. So
I've never been. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Vegas is super clean with that stuff. But like I said, I put it somewhere where it's like, you can't get me for defacing something. It's on a strip of toilet paper. If you're really offended, just rip off the square. You know, I'm circumventing the law. So,
I love how creative and innovative you are on your marketing. Thank you so much.
no, officer, I'm not defacing property. I'm circumventing the law.
I swear to drunk, I'm not God.
And we've had so many cool experiences. We did wrestling, for 2 different wrestling agencies. We did some stuff from some promo work for them. You did a movie.
Yeah, I did a short film.
You got tied up.
I played a kidnapped girlfriend, and they tied me up, and the location we shot at was this place that was like an old abandoned building warehouse type of thing, near Deep Ellum, like in Dallas. But the whole point is that it's the location for local artists to go do like wall art and like art graffiti, not like to deface. Like it's sectioned off or sanctioned as you can do art on the wall here. So people go do that there. So it's a really, really cool place because it has this cool graffiti artwork everywhere. But people did drugs there. And how I know that is because when we were shooting there and they told me, okay, we have you tied up. We want you to like get down on the ground and kind of like, crawl around the ground like you're trying to escape. And I didn't want to, not because I didn't want to get dirty, but because there were used and broken needles and syringes all over the ground. And I didn't want one to accidentally poke me like through my pants into my skin, because they're used in dirty drug needles. And I was a little freaked out, but we got through it. I didn't get poked. But yeah, that was an experience.
So you actually were a part of an award-winning short film. And
I think, I wasn't able to go to the awards ceremony for our film, unfortunately, but we won like best overall film.
Yeah.
And I have a copy of the award, so I'm proud of that. That was such a cool thing that I got to do, and it's all because of the connections we made through this podcast.
Yeah, we've recorded, like we've got cool memories in Deep Ellum. We did some promo videos on like the electric scooters, and I'd never ridden one of those before, so that was fun. Your husband wasn't even your fiance then; he was still your boyfriend.
Still my boyfriend.
There's we're riding down the street on the scooter, and he's eating a sandwich, and you like knock it down, and
sandwich chick.
It was cool. We did a whole like string of promo videos for the show, and like I said, we've met a lot of people. We did some wrestling stuff. You did some makeup sessions. We've done a little bit of everything. And it's just, we've evolved as a show, and we've grown as a show.
And that's one of those things that only comes with time, and with the time we've got the experience and the episodes. So I don't think we'd be where we are now if we hadn't hit 100 episodes. Like 50 episodes ago, we were in like a completely different universe.
50 episodes ago, we were in COVID, I think. We were in COVID time.
Yeah, we made it through COVID during this podcast. So we learned, obviously we couldn't meet in person in Deep Ellum anymore during COVID to record. It wasn't safe. And we figured out ways to record from 2 different locations. Like we did it all virtually before that was the thing. We this mixer that we're using now, we bought it, and at the time, like nobody knew how to do these things virtually. That's when Zoom was still pretty new, and Teams and all that stuff was pretty new, and we kind of had to learn how to do it if we wanted to keep doing it. And there was like 6 months or a year where we just did our show remotely. It was a long time because COVID was still about, vaccines weren't up yet. So it wasn't, we were forced to do it from home for a very long time.
And we kept doing it. So, I mean, that was the cool thing is like I said earlier, we were doing podcasting before it was cool. Everybody some people were like, oh, that's kind of dorky. And now everybody and their mom has a podcast. But we were doing it before it got cool. And we were doing the remote stuff before it got cool. Now everybody has apps and they can record a show from another state or another country. And, I still think our quality is better. I think our sound quality is better. I think our presentation is better. I think we're more organized. That's what I pride us on, is that I think I call us semi-pro. We're semi-professional broadcasters. And I think we treat it that way. And I think, that's why we're still here. you know, and that's how we still end up back together. Because we take our breaks. Don't get me wrong. We get sick of each other. But then we miss it. I think personally we miss it.
Yeah.
You know, you might not realize you miss it until you're back together, but you're like, oh, this is familiar. This is my outlet.
Because Sergio and I, this, you know, podcasting isn't our full-time job. We have other full-time jobs that pay our bills, and we have families and other responsibilities that we have to prioritize too. So the fact that we are able to make the time to get together and record and put these shows out there makes me happy, and it gives me something to look forward to. And don't get me wrong, like you said, sometimes we'll record several episodes at once, and then it's like, okay, I don't want to see you for 2 weeks. Bye. Sayonara. But then at the end of that 2 weeks, it's like I'm itching to get the headphones on and to talk about things. And like he comes over and I'm so happy to see him. And we catch up and we do what we got to do. But it's always a fun time.
Very fun time indeed. I got a few little tidbits about the show and the history of the show.
Let's hear it.
So our most viewed or most listened to episode, 5,056 listens. And the episode was about Thanksgiving staples, like food, like things that are on your Thanksgiving menu every year. And it was like your family, your demographic versus my demographic. You know, being a Latino and being Caucasian, it's like, what do you guys eat and what do we eat? Like what's on the menu every year?
That's very interesting. Thanksgiving. I wouldn't have guessed that.
That was the most listened to by far. And it's kind of staggering that like that many people thought that was so interesting. Was there nothing else on? Was there nothing else to listen to that
Well, week? I think that could have been one of the first Thanksgivings during COVID. So maybe everyone listened to everything else, watched everything, read everything. But I will say in that episode, we do give two cool perspectives because different cultures, different families eat different things. And I would love to try the Thanksgiving food at your house too, because it sounds awesome.
It's pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. But you know, over the years, we've added so many different formats. We started off on YouTube, and then we added Facebook Live. And we were doing YouTube, and then we were also doing, and then at some point we started doing Facebook Live. And we started doing Facebook Live is when we integrated the audio, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
iHeartRadio.
Well, recently, like this year, we've added iHeartRadio and Amazon Music, and there's like 7 other platforms that aren't that big that we're on. So now we post a show and it goes everywhere. You know, but there is a whole group of shows. This is episode 100 since we started the Spotify era. But we've got probably 40 or 50 episodes on YouTube. Search Law and Disorder Podcast and you'll find us. And we
just sit there with the microphones and talk like this.
Yeah.
And this is when we just met and just started recording together, and we were still getting to know each other.
We had like mismatched gear and like
we were learning.
We were trying to get comfortable with each other. And then, you know, we started hitting our stride. We did Deep Ellum. We did shows, you know, at the local game store in Richardson, you know, cool game store that's still there. They do you know,
tournaments.
Like game tournament, like card game tournaments,
video game tournaments,
video games, Dungeons and Dragons, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff. So, you know, and that was several years ago. That was pre-COVID. They're still around, you know. Common Desk, where we were doing the live shows, is still around. You know, and we've just kind of evolved with time. And I'm the most proud of that, is that we're still here. We're still evolving. We're not if you listen to episode 1 and you listen now to episode 100, it's not the same. It doesn't sound the same, and it shouldn't sound the same. It has to evolve. We have to evolve. You don't want to listen to me talking about the same crap I talked about 100 episodes ago, I don't think. What does that say about me and you if you're listening to the exact same thing?
You're boring.
You know, we're boring. Yeah, we got stuff to do now. We're grown.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really proud that we're still here, and I feel like we're just now getting started. I feel like things are going to get bigger and better and faster and stronger. And we just keep doing it one day at a time, one episode at a time.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. I'm really glad that we're still here, and I couldn't have done this without you.
Oh, me neither. I couldn't do audio stuff that you do. You bring so much to the table with that.
You bring so much perspective that I don't have. And, you say that you're law and I'm disorder. I tend to think that I'm law and you're disorder. But I think that's one of the fun things about us is that some episodes I am disorder and some episodes you're disorder. Mm-hmm. And it's fun. We have a great time.
We go back and forth.
Yeah. We get to just hand the baton off. So I think that's everything we got,
Yeah.
Once again, I want to thank Young Ideas Dish for being there all this time for us. Gary and his team. All your Dish and Google product needs and cell phones. Wavespace Audio for the music. He's been doing this music for us since when we launched. Mm-hmm. When we launched this stuff 100 episodes ago. We didn't launch it until we had music. Like we got a logo, or we revamped the logo, and we got music. And that was like the kickoff of this. So all 100 episodes, or this guy here, that intro, 100 episodes.
It's awesome.
Super
Thanks
proud
so
of
much.
that intro. So thanks, man. I appreciate Wavespace for that. Anything else?
Thanks for sticking with us, y'all.
Thanks for sticking with us. Keep sticking with us. It's going to get better. Mm-hmm. So on behalf of myself and Miss Caitlin,
hey.
Next time we will be in 101. 101.
101.
See you guys later.
Bye, y'all.
Later.